Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth Cantey, and this is another episode of Living Enlightened Every Day. Today we're asking the question, if we're not in love, what are we in? Let's find out. Today we're asking the question, if we're not in love, what are we in? If we're not being love, what are we being? And if we're not loving, what are we doing? Interesting questions. What are we when we are not in love? I know for me, the answer has been annoyed, frustrated, angry, upset, blaming, defensive, judging, busy. There's a lot of things we're doing that seem really important at the time. But when we ask ourselves the deep question of what is more important than being in love, than being loved, and loving. And most of us will come up with the answer, nothing. So then we ask the question, what would you have to give up to be in love in every moment? I invite you to think about that for a minute. What would you have to give up to be in love, to experience yourself as love in every moment? And I guess we have to ask the question, what is love? Most of us are very familiar with the romantic idea of love, the relationship love, the romantic love, the partnership love. We know familial love, parent and child, siblings. We know best friend, being in love with your best friend, just loving, kindness, things like that. But when we take away the idea of a reciprocal relationship, somebody's going to give us love, we're going to give them love. When we really explore the nature of love and ask ourselves, what is love? One of the answers I come up with, of course, is the creative energy of the universe, right? It's everything. It's everything is love. The expression of love being expressed, love living itself in love. But we can be a little more specific. We can have fun with the idea of love, that knowing feeling or that knowing, let's just leave it at knowing. There's a quality of awe and wonder. There's a quality of excitement and of not knowing, giddy anticipation, trust and faith and safety. We're safe in love. And surrender. We surrender in love. So awe, wonder, excitement, anticipation, safety, surrender. What would you give up to experience that all the time? What would you give up for that? For that incredible feeling? What would you have to give up to be in that? Well, you'd have to give up being annoyed. Annoyed with all the little and big things. You can't be in love and annoyed. The two cannot occupy the same space. You'd have to give up being miserable. You can't be in love and miserable at the same time. You'd have to give up being hurt and angry. You'd have to give up being a victim and blaming the other, the situation, the past, the memory, the person, the events. You'd have to give up being in control. Love can't be controlled. And you can't be defensive. Love flees at the first sign of defensiveness. You'd have to give up your walls and your armor and your sword. Love can't be in the same place as defensiveness because love is the protector. That's love. Love does all that. In love, we can feel compassion and empathy, but not suffering. You'd have to give up your suffering. Oh, and you'd have to give up being right. Because only love is right. If I'm going to use that word right as if there's a wrong in love, but there's, in this context, using these words, love is always right, all the time, every time. Only love is right. And you'd have to give up your judgments because love can only see itself. It can only see love. And it loves itself. Love, loving love. There's no judgments. Love accepts everything right where it is. How would that feel? To be that open, spacious place of love and acceptance that can embrace everything, and yet nothing it embraces can hurt or harm it, can change it. That's who we are. That's amazing. We can feel or experience that all the time, every day. It's our natural state. Love is calling us from within. It's real and solid and full and clear. And it's home, right? It's where we belong. Last week, Troy Ismir talked about the story of the prodigal son, who, of course, goes on this journey of self-destruction, really, and returns home to a love that never left him. He left love, but love never left the prodigal son, right? That's love. That's our nature. It's not from the world out there. It's not love calling from a partner or a friend or a child. It's not love of career or vocation or some other experience or event or relationship. It is calling for us from within to fulfill itself. And when we surrender to it, we are filled full. There's nothing missing, nothing lacking, nothing to gain or find, nothing to lose. Can you imagine living life right now, right where you are, doing exactly what you're doing, being with whoever you are with, and experiencing nothing missing, nothing lacking, and looking out from this place of fulfillment, contentment, joy, awe, and wonder, and seeing only that reflected back to you. Love seeing itself, experiencing itself. Imagine being joyful, peaceful, with nothing changing on the outside, in the outside world of effects. Just take a moment. Can you imagine that? What it would feel like to be in love, to feel love for no reason all the time? That's our birthright. That's where we're headed. Why not? Are you too busy for love? Does the wife or the partner or the dog or the child come to you ready to shower you with love and you say, no, wait, I'm busy. I'm busy right now. I can love you after I balance the checkbook, cook dinner, play golf, clean up, after the appointments, after the meetings, after I rest. Then I can love you. Ever done that? Yeah. I know the feeling. When will you fit love into your schedule? When it's convenient? At the end of the day, before lunch, before you go to bed, when you can finally find a moment, damn it, then I'll give you love. Will you give up being busy to know and experience the love that is who you are and that is expressing as life all around you? Do you need to make an appointment for that? Maybe we should. Or we can just surrender to it. Does that mean we shouldn't honor appointments and time and commitments? Of course not. But the only reason to make an appointment is to schedule an opportunity to love and be loved. We may think it's to sell something or to get our taxes in alignment or to fix some pain in our back and go see the chiropractor, right? But it's an opportunity to love and be loved. Love your work. Love your tennis game, your child's soccer practice. Love the doctor's appointment and the accountant's expertise. Schedule the time, the appointments, the sales calls. But it can be for love, in love, with love. And we can experience love, energy, creativity, healing, spontaneity, joy while we're doing it. Fill your time with love. Now that's an excellent way to fill your time, wouldn't you say? Why would we be anything but love? What's better than being in love? And as soon as I ask that question, I hear the answer: money, fame, fortune, control, power. Most of us are keenly aware that love is greater than any of these. As a matter of fact, most people want those things, hoping to get a glimpse of love as a result, right? You know, they think they're going to be liked, loved, respected when they achieve the money, the fame, the fortune, the power, the control. But they are love now. And those things almost always, if they're not in love, they're obscuring love. They're blocking love. They're blocking our knowing ourselves fully, our true nature. They who want those things are love now too, but they just can't sense it. They think that the love or the joy that they will get from those things is outside of themselves, and they will look and seek and search until they remember to return within to source. They are love. You are love. I am love. There's nothing but love. So where is this love? Well, we just said it. It's within. It's who and what we are. It's always available. It's our natural state of being, but most of us don't recognize it as our normal state of being. But when we're in it for a moment, or for an hour, for a day, for a week, for a year, there's nothing more ourselves than ourselves as love. It's who we were created to be, love itself. The self, capital S, is always love. The ego, which is the set of beliefs that feels and believes itself as a separate finite being, will always look for love. It can only look outside of itself for love, because it's not a self with a capital S. It's a set of beliefs. The ego doesn't recognize the self with a capital S, but the self, like, we can recognize the ego. We can know ourselves as source, and the ego just, it's like a sleeping puppy in the back on the couch, just content over there, because we are ourself and we experience love. And then the ego has nothing to look for, nothing to do. It just dissolves back into the nothingness from whence it came. The ego, what the ego wants isn't true love. It's validation, acknowledgement, acceptance, to stand out, to stand above. The ego wants that false idea or sense of security in relationship or control, and it's veiled as love. And many people in our society will play that game, but that's not the love that I'm speaking of. And it's not the love that we, all of us, recognize as ourself. Those moments of unconditional love, we wake up to, and it's like, that love is always present. It's always available. It's the same love. The people might change, the situations change, the events change. The love is the same. When we turn inward and return to source, we experience love unconditioned. It's unconditioned by our history, world history, cultural history. It's unconditioned by anything in the world of form. It is always with us, never left us. We could never be separated from it. To be in love, we have to give up the false sense of who we think we are in order to become who we were always meant to be. And becoming isn't the right word. It's revealing. It's returning to who we've always been. Spirit expressed, source revealed, love unconditioned. And this love that I speak of is not passive. It is powerful. The power to create worlds. There's nothing more powerful than love. Love is not lacking. It is abundantly full. It's not judging. It's only and always completely accepting. It's never hurt, harmed, or endangered. It's never reacting. It's never resisting. It's never doing anything but being love. It's the very essence of healing and wholeness. So what are you willing to give up to experience the love that you are? When are you willing to move yourself into the truth of your being? They say there's no better time than now. Now's a good time. Now is a good time. I've been dealing with this. I shouldn't say dealing with it. I've been working with these questions, this dialogue that comes up for me in my meditations. Love. Who am I when I am not in love? And why would I ever choose anything else when it's so available? Most of us know ourselves as this separate being who looks a certain way and drives a certain car and has a certain job or a role to fulfill. We experience ourselves as old or young, frustrated or happy, lacking or abundant, ready or not. We know our fears and our anxieties, our missed opportunities, our failures, our successes, our stories. We're identified with that. We've done that. We can see that sometimes so clearly. And now we're asking, when are we going to know ourselves in truth? As whole, perfect, and complete? When are we going to turn within and experience the unconditioned, the love that we are? What's a good day for you? Let's schedule it. Put it in the notes. We'll schedule a day to just be love, in love, loving, and see love all around us. Who are you when you're in love? Who are you in love? When we really experience, when we recognize ourselves as love, there isn't an object of our love. There isn't something to love. There's just lovingness. That doesn't mean we won't have an object, but it means we love without the objects. The relationships in our lives are meant to guide us, to remind us, to for us to remember how we are meant to love everything and everyone all the time. In other words, when my son was born, before he was born the first time, but then right when he was born, I was so filled with love. I knew it changed my life. This is how I am meant to love everyone. He just showed up to remind me of that. He came into my life to remind me, this is who you are. This is how you love. It was him. He showed me, he taught me. But if I just leave that love focused on him or on my romantic relationship or on my familial relationships, we're missing the point. All of those, any moment we've ever had of love of nature, love of our dog, our cat, our fish, love of anything in life, it is a remembrance, a pointer to the whole, to love and be loved and be in love. There's no object of love. There's love as a whole. We become completely present to life as love. So if we're not in love, what are we in? And if we're not being love, what are we being? And if we're not loving, what are we doing? I just invite you this week, ask the questions, receive the answers, turn within. This awe and wonder, excitement, anticipation, joy, peace, connectivity, connection, this unconditional love is on the next breath. It's closer to you than you're breathing. Love is this never-ending river that flows from within. Be in the flow and know yourself as this divine expression of love and experience that love that surrounds you at every turn, in every moment, in every situation, in every relationship, as every activity. What would be better than that? You are love, and there's nothing else you can be. Let's make that commitment this week to just return to love every minute, all the time, and experience the truth of our being. That's my invitation. I'm Elizabeth Cantey. This has been another episode of Living Enlightened Every Day. You can find out more about me on my website, elizabethcantey.com. And definitely, I talk about this and more in my book, Living Enlightened, The Joy of Integrating Spirit, Mind, and Body. It's on Amazon. I am so grateful that you listened, and send me a comment, a note, a question. What else would you like to talk about? Let me know. I hope you spend this week laughing and loving and living enlightened every day.
Thanks for watching. Join us again next Tuesday at 7 a.m. Mountain Time for Living Enlightened with Elizabeth Cantey. Integrating your spirit, mind, and body. Learn more at www.ntmedia.org.